What's going on, everyone? Austin John Place here, and today I'm going to be going over how to farm bladed, rugged, and energetic Rhino Beatles in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I'm in the process of sort of reverse engineering and testing how all of the critters in the entire game spawn and the most effective way for you to go about farming them. However, many people have specifically asked about these 3 Rhino Beatles. Maybe because they're the hardest to dupe and you can't, and then you actually have to do it the real way, I don't know. But in this video, I'm going to be going over the locations of all of them and some tips to actually farm them efficiently. The very first thing I'm going to say is make sure that you have stealth up armor. You could either use the stealth set, which is purchased in Kakariko village, and then at a severe discount if you do the little quest associated with it. Alternatively, you could be using the Yiga outfit as well. Do keep in mind that if it's upgraded to level 2, you're going to be having night speed up, which is going to make it that way between the hours of 9 p.m. and 4 a.m. you go a little bit faster. Alternatively, the evil spirit armor also gives you stealth up. It also gives you disguise and bone weapon proficiency, but we're not really attacking anything. Or you could use Sheik's mask. Those are all the armors in the game that give you stealth up. I am going to be using the stealth armor. You may want to go ahead and make yourself a meal that will give you speed up level 3, because for a lot of this farming, you are not allowed to sprint. If you sprint, the bugs are going to run away from you. It's going to be a whole mess. And I put out a whole video explaining how to actually make yourself all of the best meals in the entire game, but just to let you know, in order to make yourself a speed up level 3, you could do that with 3 fleet lotus seeds and a rush room, which is all going to be a value of 2, 2, 2, and 1 for a total of 7, which is required for level 3. And then any dragon horn is going to make it so that you're going to be having a 30-minute meal guaranteed, as well as a critical cook. I don't think it's going to do much, just give you a little bit more hearts. Yeah, but there you go. There's speed up level 3 for 30 minutes. Alternatively, instead of a rush room, you could have used a swift carrot. There's many different ways to make this potion. That's just one that I'm going to give you right off of the bat, right? Great. The next thing that I'm going to recommend is that you upgrade your sensor plus and that you have these 3 entered into your compendium, which you can buy from Robbie. If you don't want to buy these from Robbie, then while you're going through this video, I'm going to tell you the places that you can find these, and you can take pictures of them, and then you'll be good from there. Also, if you're only here for one of these particular beetles, I am going to recommend that you go ahead and you hunt down all 3 at the same time, because it's going to be a little bit more efficient that way. The rugged and bladed Rhino Beetles are going to be in most of the same locations. The energetic Rhino Beetle has some exclusive locations, and I'm going to be going over all of that. The absolute most efficient way for you to farm these, either if you want to do it casually or if you want to make sure that you get all 3 as compendium entries, is going to be coming here to the Bronas forest. This is where the Dondons are, right across from the lakeside stable, here in the Farron region. There's going to be a cooking pot over here, and I've noticed that there's a weird thing that sometimes these insects will not spawn as soon as you show up, so you actually have to camp at this location. I'll exemplify that more later. Actually, I just exemplified it right now. Before I slept, I didn't get any bladed Rhino Beetles nearby, and now I do. If you don't have these 3 in your compendium, you can look around at the trees, and typically on the side of the trees, you are going to be finding all 3 species of this beetle. Now, they're going to be spawning in groups from 1 to 3, and that's how you're going to be able to spot them easily. Like right here, I have 3 bladed Rhino Beetles and an energetic Rhino Beetle right on this tree right here. So you go ahead, take a picture of these, register them to your compendium. In order to climb this tree, you don't actually want to jump up because that creates a lot of sound. Instead, you just want to press up against the tree, climb up, and then you're good. After you clear off one tree, you're going to make sure you want to send it to your compendium. And now, just make a little circle, and one of these directions, your sensor is going to be going off. Do not sprint. No matter what you do not sprint right now because you will scare off beetles. We found a bladed Rhino Beetle here. It's looking for a new one. Whatever direction it's telling me to go, that's where I go. Since these trees are tall, when using your sensor, as you get close, it may do the nearby up above, which means that it's going to be up the tree a little bit further. Oh, perfect example. All 3 of them. Boom. There you go. Go ahead and register all 3 of them to your compendium. Also, if you want to go about a more passive way of farming these instead of going through the full video, I would definitely recommend just coming here once every 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, as long as you're not in the area, which should be enough time for them to respawn. When you come here, sleep at the little camp, and then you should be able to have them all spawn back in. But that 2 to 3 hours of natural game progression is required. Now, not only the trees over here, but if we go just a little bit more west, remember, do not sprint. This is the reason the speed up potion was so handy. You also may have some over near this one flat log. Careful, because there's also going to be a treasure chest Octorok right here. And the treasure chest Octorok can also scare them away. If you reach the point that the one beetle that you're no longer looking for is going to be showing up on the compendium, switch to the next one. Okay, I've gone around in a circle and there's nothing here. And let's search for the energetic Rhino Beetle. And there's none here. I've seen the energetic Rhino Beetle spawn on the inside of this log right about here. Here's just a weird personal belief of mine. If I don't get any showing up after I change my sensor, I sleep until the morning once again, just to allow them a chance to respawn. It doesn't work all the time, but it has worked for me more than once. Just boom, there we go. Perfect example. Do that second sleep, there he is, right on the stump. Okay, I'm not too sure why I wasn't able to grab that one and why he got scared away. I think it has to do with the dip in between the shape of this log. That's my first one that's ran away in a long time, but we still have more showing up for us. We have two more on the top of this tree. Is he inside the log? Yep, he's inside the log at the place that I told you exactly where he'd be. I just sprinted for a half second out of habit, and as I sprinted, I heard one fly away. That's the reason you don't sprint. Even if it's not the one you're currently searching for and you don't see anything on the grid, you don't want to sprint. I'm gonna go ahead and change my compendium sensor to something else, search this area once again, and boom, there's more beetles. Oh, he's right here at the trunk. One more right at the trunk, nice and convenient. So I've reached my second beetle that's not showing up on the sensor. Let's go back and search for another. After my second lap, you can try to sleep again and you might get lucky, although I've had very little success on a second sleep cycle and actually getting them to show up. I'll usually do a sleep, check all three beetles real quick, and once none of the three show up, then I know for a fact that I've cleared this place out and it's going to take 2 to 3 hours for this place to fully respawn. If you're unfamiliar with how these animals are going to be spawning back in, every 1 real life minute that you're playing the game and not in menu screens, there is a 1% chance that every single thing is going to respawn, as long as it's not part of the 1/80th chunk that you're currently in. Meaning that if I go over here and I spend 2 hours over here doing something, then this thing has had 120 chances at 1% to respawn. And this location is by far the best, has all three of the beetles here and the closest congregation of them. Now I'm going to be going over specific locations that's only going to be having 1 or 2 or less than a lot, but of all three of the beetles. Here at the Retsam Forest, which is just north by northeast of the Hateno H Tech Lab, bladed or rugged rhino beetles on them. I didn't have this one set up on my sensor, but I could clearly see that he's just over here. We found a bladed. And actually my sensor hasn't gone off for the other one whatsoever. Oh, we have one right over here. Be careful of the squirrels, because if a squirrel sees you, then he can actually scare off the other insects. Bladed rhino beetle. Bladed rhino beetle. There's one up here on this tree for me. Whenever there's an animal in the distance, I usually try to avoid his sight, because if he gets rambunctious, he can actually scare away the beetles that are on the trees, especially this one that is literally next to a tree. See, if it makes sound, the beetle flies off. So at this location, I was able to find a total of 6. I forgot to mark one down on the map, and one of them flew away from me. The next location we're going to be making our way to is Oakle's Navel, which is located right here. A good point of reference here is Fort Hateno and the Dueling Peak Stable. So from Fort Hateno across the river here at this Navel, which by the way, is a cave right here. These trees, I've had luck on them showing up on. If it's your first time here, keep in mind you may need to sleep in order for them to show up. And boop, there we go, bladed rhino beetle. Another bladed rhino beetle. This is a perfect example of a time that I showed up and I didn't get anything showing up for me. So because of that, I'm just going to go ahead and set up a campfire. And because there's no shelter anywhere, I'm just going to take out a wing because I have so many of them. Make a lean-to by putting it on the side of a tree, taking out a piece of wood, and using this opportunity to sleep until morning. And as soon as I wake up, my compendium goes on, and I have a rugged Rhino Beetle nearby. On this tree right here. Oh, by the way, I'm at Angel Peak. I didn't include that earlier, sorry. Yeah, here's Dueling Peak Stable, directly south of Dueling Peak Stable and the Great Ferry. Here you're going to be finding Angel Peak. Here's Riola Spring for reference, and I'll zoom out on the map so you can see better. We have another rugged Rhino Beetle right here. My next location is going to be over here at the Guchini Plains. You may be familiar with this from one of my videos because this is the location of one of the rare stone taluses right where my cursor is. But if you're not familiar, here's a shrine right next to the Highland Stable. Just to the right of that, the Guchini Plains over here. Also, some people have made remarks about the way that I pronounce things like Guchini Plains and Molduga. I am from North New Jersey, place that Tony Soprano was from. Which, just for reference, the thing that is going to be on screen right now, see that word? I want you to do me a favor and say that word out in your head. Okay? You see that word? Okay. In New Jersey, that's gabagool. Yeah, I bet you didn't think it was spelled that way. I'm also going to take out this Wizrobe right here because he can also scare away the beetles that we're going for. I put my bow away and that scared away a beetle, and I'm pretty sure he was on this tree right here. So that's going to be 2 more here at the Guchini Plains. Our next location is going to be bringing us to the Great Plateau right outside of the Shrine of Resurrection, which is located right here on the map. For reference, here is the Outskirts Stable. By some of the comments, it's come to my attention that there's a lot of people who are playing this game who did not play Breath of the Wild, so I'm gonna try to stop acting like you should know these locations because I'm just been under the presumption that you played the first game, which is wrong of me. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below if you did not play Breath of the Wild, but you are playing this game. Once again, my sensor is not going off for any of them, so I'm just going to go ahead and make a campfire real quick. And as soon as we wake up, we have bladed Rhino Beetles nearby. Right on this tree right here. Yoink. And we have another one at this tree right here. So that is going to be 2 more here at the Shrine of Resurrection. Our next location brings us to right here at Rutile Lake, which this is a fantastic farming spot as well as the rest of Satori Mountain, which is where we are. This location is right underneath Hyrule Ridge. Here is the Tabantha Bridge Stable. So just across the river down here, Rutile Lake, just above the Gerudo Highlands. I spawned in and didn't get anything showing up for me, so I'm going to go ahead and sleep until morning. Sleeping until morning, and I have a bladed Rhino Beetle showing up nearby, which they are going to be right here. Whole big amount of these beetles on this big old tree right here, including all 3 of these beetles, which is fantastic. Make sure you approach as slowly as possible, just mashing the A button. Make sure none of your sages accidentally decide to activate any abilities. This is the money tree. This is the one you've been looking for. There's even more here at the bottom that I missed. Like I said before, this is a fantastic place to come farm for a whole bunch of resources. Endura carrots, like look how many blue nightshades are over here. You have summerwing butterflies. Also, strangely enough, there is one tree here at the Bokassa Ridge, located right here at this tree cluster. I'm going to zoom out more, although there's not a lot of landmarks nearby. Here's a shrine that involves a crystal. If you didn't know, this place is actually home to 5-star stamina horses. So if you want a 5-star stamina horse, you can get one over here. When we wake up, we have our bladed Rhino Beetle right on this tree, right where I knew he'd be. Unfortunately, there's only one here, but he's always here. So I figured I'd let you know. Here at Kakariko Village, coming from, I guess they're both south entrances, but the west entrance, this first tree over here has a chance to have a beetle on it for you. Also here at Kakariko Village at the Ring Ruins, which is going to be this northmost area of the village. For reference, here is the Zonai Survey Team base. Heading just north at this tree, I'm pretty sure it's just the one bladed Rhino Beetle. So you would think at the other entrance, over here on this giant tree, there would be the 3rd beetle. But there's not. Here at the Great Sky Island at the very beginning of the game, there's going to be a lot of energetic Rhino Beetles that you can get. I believe 6 or 7. And they're all going to be on these bright yellow trees. Keep in mind, as soon as you hop on the tree, you want to spam that A button to get it. The first one's going to be located at this tree right here. And there's actually an outside perimeter path that you can take that you can avoid all the constructs in the middle. Our second energetic Rhino Beetle is going to be on this very large tree, which you could hop up freely and then collect it once you get up higher. And this large tree is located right here on the map. By the way, people are confused about that gong sound. There's a temple, and it just turned 7 a.m. That's the reason you're hearing gongs. It's letting you know the time. Our third tree is going to be this one right here, although this one didn't spawn in for me this time. So I'm thinking there might be something going on. So I'm just going to go ahead, put down some wood, make it morning time. As soon as I wake up, boom, he spawns in for me. Thank you. This tree is located right here. Our next one is going to be on this very large tree, located right here on the map. While avoiding all of the eyesight of all the constructs, we're going to make our way to this final tree right by the lake. This one's located right here, and apparently I scared away... don't know what I scared away, but I scared away something. Oh, I just walked on top of it. There was an energetic beetle on the ground right here where I'm standing. You may want to save before you walk over here because amongst all this yellow grass, he's going to be very difficult to see. From the ability to rewind shrine, which is right next to where you woke up at the Room of Awakening, if you just ascend on out here and I had to sleep until morning, you're also going to be having one spawning on this tree right here for you. Here on Eventide Island is a place that you're going to be able to find a bunch of them. And right from where the shrine is after you do the whole pirate quest line over here, I fly down over here, and if I don't see them spawn where I know that they're going to be spawning, I just go ahead and put down a campfire because I know for a fact that they're going to be spawning here. And just like that, the energetic Rhino Beetle is going to be showing up on the tree directly in front of me. And unfortunately, these three choo-choo just scared it away. But he was on this tree right here. This large tree right here has a rugged Rhino Beetle on it, located right here on the map. We have a bladed Rhino Beetle on this tree, right here on the map. And we have another bladed Rhino Beetle on this large tree right next to the base camp, located right here on the map, making a total of 4 beetles on the map for us. And there you go. Those are going to be all the locations that I have found beetles in Tears of the Kingdom. Some real quality spots like Rutile Lake and some one-offs like on the Great Plateau. And of course, those quality Sky Island ones over here. And oh, I also forgot to mark down the one above the mining cave. Yeah, there we go. These locations are going to be a fantastic place for you to get these Rhino Beetles. Do keep in mind that after 2 to 3 hours of exploring in the game, you are going to have the chance for these locations to respawn. So then you should be going off and, I don't know, looking for them again. Great. Well, guys, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.